Patrick Marleau!
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't ready to start since the Sharks weren't starting on time. I figured we wouldn't either. But
Jesus.
But Patrick Marleau! Yeah. So hey, they signed him. They finally did, and I think it was because the rookies are not stepping up right now. The rookies are not taking it the opportunity by the reins and really running with it. So
what was it 5 or 6 preseason games plus another now 4 games?
Yeah.
This explains why was it Yartukin? I'm gonna admit, you're taken.
There you go.
You're taken.
You're taken.
You're taken.
Yeah, like Southern drawl, I think.
Taken.
You're taken.
You're taken.
Well, I think you said it well enough with the Forrest Gump. Seats
Super
taken.
Key Grip Joe is in the house tonight.
See.
How's it going, buddy?
But yeah, seats taken, you're taken.
You're taken.
They were scratched. Him and who's the other one? Bergman? Or who's he?
No.
Who else is scratched?
Brzezinski was in. Bergman was in. Your Tyken was scratched, and I don't recall.
There's another rookie that was scratched, and maybe that was wise because they were maybe moving them around. I don't know if they got sent down or not. If they got sent down, that would make more sense.
Yeah.
To make room for like.
So that's how well
else.
these guys have been doing. We can't remember the name, so it's forgettable, right? So and it's unfortunate, really, is what it is. Because there's a lot of these guys you really thought had some good, promising young talent that might be able to come in, get a few games to actually impress some folks. And again, like you said, this 10 games between preseason and regular season so far, no one's really, really impressed. I mean, for me, I still like your Tyken's game. I like Brzezinski's game, but they're not putting it all together, and it's kind of evident
they're not quite at that level yet.
Yeah,
like they're going to be there. They're going to be NHL players. I wouldn't say stars, but they'll be NHL caliber players. Maybe third, fourth line guys. Maybe your Tyken. I'm gonna mess that up all season. Maybe a second line winger for him at most, but eventually he wouldn't be there this season.
Okay.
Nobody took that step.
And on top of that, we saw Kevin Labanc making a few more mistakes tonight. I don't want to pick on him, but we saw that. We also saw Erik Karlsson, Marc-Edouard Vlasic, really bad passes. Jumbo Joe had some really ugly ones too tonight.
So with Marleau joining the team, is he going to take his whipping boy status back from when he was on the team before, or is it now going to be Labanc?
Yeah.
Is it going to be Vlasic? Like, who's going to be the new guy that gets beat up?
You got to think the expectations on Patrick Marleau are not that high, right? He's coming in to help out. All he has to do is be better than the rookies. If he can do that, he's in a good spot because he's getting paid how much? $700K.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, though, he's not going to miss a game.
No.
He hasn't missed a game. What, Joe? Since 2009?
Definitely in 2 years. I mean, but yeah, let's see, back to 2013, 2014 season.
What was that? That was the short season?
No, that's the 2013 season. Was a short season with 48 games, and that includes 24 games in the playoffs in 16, then 6, then 7, then 7. So he's an
Iron Man. So you're going to get him for as many games as you can get him for. It's just a matter of what's he going to do in terms of production, and I can't imagine it's going to be any worse than what we've seen so far.
I don't want people to think that he's going to be the star player he was a decade ago.
Right.
He's going to get 60, 70 points. He's more going to be a 30, maybe 40-point guy on the third line. I mean, if he can get 15 I would expect 15 to 20 goals on the third line. That's pretty good. Last year, I think Sorensen had 17 goals, 16 or 17. I looked that up, which is what Marleau had 16 goals, I think, last year. You get that production on your third line, that's going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
If you can get that production on your third line, if you can.
I would say, based on their performance over the first couple games, now it's 4 games, I think he comes in with a higher expectation. I think people were like, get Patty back before the season, thinking, oh, it'd be great. You could put him on the third line. He doesn't have to do a whole lot because we got other people. Now it's going to be like, please help us. Someone get goals. Kane came back in. He got a goal today, which was nice to see.
Yeah. So what you're going to see is, he may not come out of the gate roaring, and you're going to see people going, oh, another great move by Doug Wilson, right?
They're already saying.
I'm sure, yeah. But again, for me, it's, if you take away the history of Patrick Marleau, you take away the name Patrick Marleau, and you just look for what this team could use right now, a cheap veteran winger who can play
all
third line. Yeah, he can play up and down the lineup, really, but he's cheap enough essentially that you're going to rely on him to play in that third line role. Basically, right now you'd be playing alongside Jumbo, right? So that's the type of player that you're looking for, and he's only going to cost you $700K. I mean,
it's throwaway money.
Yeah, it really is. It's like, I don't know. To me, it's a no-brainer to go for a veteran who was a goal-scoring veteran, not a guy like a Brian Boyle people wanted to have on the team. He's not really going to punch a bunch of goals in for you, right? So
I still wouldn't mind having Brian Boyle.
No, it wouldn't be bad. No, don't get me wrong. But I mean, if your problem right now is goal scoring and you don't have a lot of money to spend, what better than a cheap goal scorer that you can put on your third line, right? I mean, that to me, it's a fit. He makes a lot of sense. And then on top of that, the fact that it is Patrick Marleau. He did want to play for the Sharks specifically, right? I mean, and he does have the history here.
Yeah, and to me, I think he knows the system and he fits in well, and he's played it before, and so that was part of the problem. I was talking about this on Twitter earlier today. Part of the problem with the rookies is they don't know the system and they're still learning it, and they haven't been able to get it or learn it. And Patrick should be able to step in right away and be able to play those kinds of minutes that Pete DeBoer's looking for. Probably 14 to 16 minute range maybe per night, something like that. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him maybe on the second power play line. Definitely not the first, but they also switched the power play up. I heard on the radio that they split up Carlson and Burns.
I saw the power play tonight though, and I did see them back together. So
one of their later power plays. It was the early ones on. They didn't have them on the same, and it was like
the one that they scored a goal.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was the one that scored a goal. Though,
I think it was. Burns passed it to Couture, who wristed it, and Kane tipped it
down. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if Carlson was on the ice or not.
So let's do this. I know Joe's got some questions that are going on right now. I'd like to maybe limit it to the questions about Marleau first, if that's okay, so we're not jumping all over the place.
There's a lot of chatter going on right now in the chat, but along the lines of Marleau and power plays, so far we are 1-16 on the year. That is actually we're technically -2 in 16.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Is Marleau somebody who plays second line power play minutes, first line?
Second at most.
Yeah.
I don't think he gets a sniff at the first line because there's so much talent already on the Sharks.
Which is not producing.
Yeah, but it wouldn't make sense. You want them to get their chemistry and get it together because that's more of a long run thing for the season. The goals are going to start coming. They're going to start pouring in. I remember this happened last season, early in the season. The Sharks couldn't get it together.
Yeah.
And then it was, and we kept saying the floodgates are going to open.
The dam's going to break.
Yeah, it's going to happen. And it's going to happen. The Sharks are not going to go winless the month or the season.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. The dam's going to break, and you're going to see probably a game where it's a market correction and they get 6, 7, 8 goals. Not a lot. I'm not saying a lot of games like that, but it's going to be all of a sudden things are just going to click and work, and then confidence booster, and then it's going to carry forward for the next couple games. So I'm not too worried about it. I think they need to really kind of stick together and keep that first line power play together. I wouldn't mind seeing him on the second line though, second power play line.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same mind. I mean, if the second power play unit features Marcus Sorensen, and I think it does, then yeah, I'm pretty sure he'd be a good fit for that second power play unit. I don't know. I think Patty's got a pretty good shot still. His foot speed supposedly is still really, really good. So I would maybe even rely on him a little bit heavier than I would Marcus Sorensen on that line. Now, Sorensen is playing with Jumbo, and Jumbo is on the second power play unit, so maybe there's some instant chemistry already between the two of them, having played a whole season prior, and they're playing together this season as well. If they're both on the power play, again, maybe there's something that clicks. But just from a player personnel standpoint, I think Marleau's probably got a better shot at being good on the second power play unit. I don't know how to express that really, but I could definitely see him maybe slotting in. Now, will he? Who knows? Like you said, there's chemistry to be built. When you start monkeying around with that stuff, you kind of ruin some of that chemistry. So who knows? It'd be great to see him out there again, but we'll see how it goes. You got another one? No other ones. Okay,
that was my question.
That was your question.
I mean, there's questions along the lines of like,
why do we suck?
Okay. No. Let's keep it Marleau.
No, let's keep it Marleau though.
Yeah. Why does Marleau suck? No.
So Marleau, he scored, what was it, like 16 goals, I think, last season? You said 37 points, right? Was what he had last season with the Toronto Maple Leafs?
I'm sorry,
I think that's what. Yeah, I think you said 37
points. 37 points.
So
in season 8, the 18 season, he had 27 goals, 20 assists. Last year, he had 16 goals, 21 assists.
Right. So it looks like a steep decline, but
could have been playing less. Could have been playing less minutes.
I'm not sure what was going on in Toronto, to be honest. So
Toronto had a lot of firepower. I think that was part of it. It just got spread around more.
Okay.
he wasn't the guy anymore. I mean,
Fair
not
enough.
that he would be here. Again, we're not expecting 60, 70 points.
Right.
Maybe if last year's team, he was on last year's team, he might have, but not this year.
Yeah, can you imagine actually with last year's team?
No, he probably would have been over 50 points.
Yeah. Well, because
Kevin
Jumbo
LeBanc-
had 50, right? Yeah.
The bank had 60, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so who knows? I mean, who cares? Doesn't matter.
Yeah. As far as so we talked about the power play lines he might
Yeah.
fit in. You guys are thinking third line time.
Third line with Thornton, I think. Plus, especially Sorensen's still out. He's still injured.
So with Sorensen out, definitely taking his spot. With Sorensen back in, I still think he can get maybe, I don't know if they could flip him doing left and right wing if they're comfortable doing that. But I don't think LeBanc, for what he's trying to do with this year, with his contract, I don't think the third line is the best look for him. If you're trying to say that you're going to be taking on a much bigger role, that you're going to be looked at to lead a little bit more, to do more of a complete 200-foot game, I don't think the smaller amount of minutes 5-on-5 is really the best look for you. So I would hope that Kevin LeBanc moves a little bit, plays with Hurdle, plays with Logan Couture, guys that are going to get some more ice time so that he can kind of prove that point. I'm still hoping that he proves that point. He hasn't looked very good, unfortunately, but that would put him up there on those top lines, and then a space for Marleau next to Jumbo there. So, and then I still think that leaves a spot for a guy like Yurtaikin or for Brzezinski. I think Brzezinski, maybe if that was the case, Brzezinski fits better on the fourth line there with either Melker or Gaudreau. Yeah. So, but that kind of begs the question, well, then who's out, right? And it's like, well, Gambrell. We didn't talk about Gambrell then, so he would be sitting.
Right.
If it's Yurtaikin and Brzezinski, and then you've got LeBanc and Marleau, I think that's your whole core right there for the wingers. So anybody else is essentially going to get sent back down to the Mariners. Some of them have to pass waivers, I think, but I think the majority will be able to just go straight back down. But it's kind of trying times right now for Sharks and Sharks fans because it's kind of ugly.
So what I heard after Game 3 was worst start in Sharks history. Mm-hmm. So obviously with tonight's performance, I don't think it got any better. But overall, I think by the time we hit the middle of the season, we'll still remember the start of the season.
Yeah.
It just won't be as much of a punch to the gut.
For sure.
Because it'll be we'll probably be 50-50, maybe a little bit above, maybe a little bit below. So 4 games would be nice. I think the bigger point was what you were talking about during the live stream and maybe during the show was two losses to Vegas and a loss to Anaheim. Mm-hmm. That hurts because that's within your own division. So, question actually, the 3-on-1, would Marleau have passed on that 3-on-1, or would he have actually taken a shot?
Depends where he was. Are you saying Marleau on the left? Or
no,
at
just
the top there.
Like a Tiger was saying, at least Marleau shoots. He will not pass on the 3-on-1.
I think Marleau would pass.
I think he would pass.
If it's the right thing, because he's a veteran.
Yeah. I do think he would pass it a little bit there, but if the goalie's dead to rights on the wrong side of the net and he's got the puck coming to him, let's put it this way. If Jumbo doesn't flub that puck, it probably goes in the back of the net because then he's going back across and whoever the goalie was, Rene's got to go post to post again, right? So I think that if Jumbo doesn't flub that puck, it's a totally different game. I think the puck goes in the back of the net.
And I'm wondering this season because Patrick, he was basically a free agent.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people or how many teams were courting him, after he got bought out from Carolina, but maybe he saw that the writing is kind of on the wall and this is it. This is going to be his last season, and so maybe this year he's going to be shooting a lot more instead of passing like he normally would.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he also,
right?
I think a lot like with Joe, it's you got to make the right decisions at the right times,
Yeah.
I mean, that's like the most generic statement I could have possibly made about hockey because, but it's the truth. It's like you're saying, like, oh, at least he might shoot. Well, would he have it if it's the wrong situation? And 5-on-5, is he going to take that shot? Because we've seen that before, and it's like, oh my God, we got 50 shots on goal, and we only got 1 goal to score for it. Okay, then obviously 49 of those shots were not quality shots, or at least let's say 35 of those shots were not high danger chance shots,
Yeah.
So there's no point in putting it on net unless you have a guy there to get the rebound. One of the biggest things that I've seen other teams do that drives me nuts is they have a goalie that is made of some sort of soft putty and the puck just stops with the goalie. There's no rebound chances. So,
there's some goalies that have really good rebound control, and
exactly.
They'll suck it up there. Yeah,
throwing it against the goalie all night long isn't going to work if they're just like, oh, I'll just take away the shot and make them do a face-off and then clear the zone.
Right.
So,
any other remarks about Patrick Marleau, or you got anything else to say? Yeah,
a lot of people are mainly talking about the Sharks situation in general.
Yeah, and we'll get to that. I just want to
because-
make sure that we're done with Patrick Marleau before we move on to that.
I'm not done with him. We just re-signed him.
Yeah,
I'm excited he's back, and we've been talking about it practically all summer, right?
Yeah.
Like that we thought this was going to happen, and I was a little disappointed when, what was it, a month ago, maybe not less than a month ago, when Doug Wilson came out and said that we're not we're not going to sign him.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh man, I thought it was a good fit. I still think it's a good fit.
Yeah, no, and again, my whole reasoning of if you take the name and the history away from it, that's the type of guy that you want right now, right? A cheap veteran who can put the puck in the back of the net, and he's fast, right?
And he can. While we're talking third line minutes, it's like he could play at the top all the way down to the bottom, and he can play left all the way to the right. Like you can put him anywhere,
flexible.
and at a league minimum, it's only a year contract. I think even if he plays another year after this, he's only going to get a year. Again.
Oh yeah, no,
It's another player that was a former captain. So there's 4 now, I believe.
Yeah.
Thornton, Carlson, Marleau, Couture, the current captain.
Right.
I think that's it, right? No one else was the captain.
Yeah, I think so.
Because Pavelski was, and he's gone. So
Does Carlson count?
yeah,
this
I
he
said
just counted.
Carlson.
Yeah.
So
I can't hear today, apparently.
there's 4 guys in the room that used to wear the C, or 3 guys that used to wear the C, and 1 that does. So people are worried about Logan Couture's kind of leadership. There's questions about it,
good
right?
support group.
Right, yeah. He's not the only leader in the room. And it's not like those guys are just quiet and they all look at him like a lost puppy. Like, what do we do, Logan? It's just not how it works. So so it's good to have another guy like Patrick back.
Actually, that's good. So 2 things real quick. Anthony Sanchez actually started off earlier here saying, hello, I'm here to say I told you about the Marleau signing. But there was another comment here. Angelo Nunez, do you think Marleau's character will affect the Sharks dressing room?
No.
The guy's so mellow. Like, I don't know why.
I was like, will he talk in the dressing room other than saying hi? He just seems so quiet.
Well, he's quiet on camera. It's different when you're in the locker room.
I've never been.
I've never been, but Paul's never been.
I've never been. It's unfortunate.
I mean, I've been in there. They just
not at all better.
I've been in there. There just were no hockey players in there at the time.
See, I've never been in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Sharks, I've never been in there.
I got to walk on a little yellow. They did it was I think a season pass holders. They let you go in there and take pictures. You walk on a little yellow line. You don't go anywhere but the little yellow line. You take a picture and you get that. You get out again.
Nice. Nice. I don't even need a picture. I just need to
see it.
breathe it.
Oh, you don't want to No, actually, it's not bad.
Yeah, no, I need to breathe it.
I don't want to breathe it. That's gross.
I don't. Paul's weird.
Play hockey. What do you want from me?
It's like the worst smell in the world.
It's the best smell
hockey
in the world.
Pads.
Kidding me?
Bags.
No, Paul has gloved me after a game, and it is.
I did.
I have not.
I took my glove off. He came and watched me play. I took my glove off, and then he wasn't expecting it all. I was like, put it like this, and I went.
Yeah, last game I went to.
It like sealed around his face.
I got a full
like
breath,
a gas mask,
full breath and everything.
Gross. Like what do you call it when someone you have the pump and you're not breathing and you got the thing over the
oxygen.
Yeah, the oxygen mask thing, but it's got like that's what I did to him.
The entire opposite of it. It was terrible.
My goalie gloves from soccer were some of the most disgusting things I've ever smelled in my life, and yet his hockey stuff was worse. Than that.
Oh yeah,
it was bad.
Soccer gloves, it's just palms. Hockey bag, it's everything, dude. Come on.
All right, back to not Paul. Away from
back
Paul's
to the topic
gear.
at hand.
Anthony Sanchez again saying Marleau can skate like the wind still, and this is something I had heard actually. I think was it Thornton that said this earlier today.
Thornton said it. He was the best skater, I think, when they were practicing.
Just practicing the off season, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I mean he's going to bring that element back to the Sharks. He's going to have some extra speed there where maybe we didn't have it. Again, the rookies that we were talking about that you're taking, he's pretty fast too. But if he's kind of not putting up right now, if he's not kind of dazzling the coaching staff and everybody else, it's just not working. So it'll be nice to have a veteran presence that is not super slow. He's still got the foot speed. So by inserting Marleau and taking a rookie out, you don't really lose a whole lot of those young legs because Marleau is a very fast skater. You're kind of getting the upgrade in that he's a veteran and he's played with this system before, as Aaron already said. So, yeah, no, I think again, it's a good fit. I'm ready to see him play in Chicago. I can't wait for that. I mean, I'm just excited for it. And thing for us, we didn't like. So we said that, and maybe you're saying for yourself. You told us or
He's
whatever.
saying for
but
himself.
Okay, that's great. For us, I want to be perfectly clear. We thought that it was like a really good fit and that it should happen. But we also said that it probably wouldn't happen, if I remember correctly.
Well, after he came out and said that it wouldn't happen,
Yeah,
I was like, oh, it's
like
done.
it's not happening, guys.
So
yeah.
the rumor we heard was that he had signed with Arizona.
Yes.
Like we talked about it maybe 2 lives ago.
Yeah.
We alluded to it. The rumor we heard was Arizona, and he was for some reason just not there yet. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but
So we had heard from somebody who's very close to him that yes, he was already signed by Arizona, and that we shouldn't say anything because then So I was like, okay, cool, no problem. I just won't say a word. So that it turned out not to be true. I was like, well, really interesting. So I'm kind of glad I didn't say anything about it. Yeah, I was just like,
too hot in the desert apparently.
Yeah, maybe. I'm just like,
It's
yeah,
not-
I heard
not that
this.
it's
I'm not.
It's not
here.
far enough west.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, again, not really a fortunate situation that the rookies aren't really playing well right now. But it's nice that we are able to sign him because again, I did think that it was a great fit and that we should sign him, and now we do. So good for that.
I've got a non-Marleau related question.
Let's do it.
Back to the power play here
Yeah.
a little bit. Do you guys have any idea why they aren't putting Burns in the OV office?
I thought they did a couple games ago, and it wasn't working.
I thought they did
I mean,
tonight.
nothing's been working, but they've been kind of. I think they've changed their strategy a little bit to get Burns to get that one-timer. But the problem is just getting the puck to him. And again, what I'd said in our episode that just came out today was that and bodies in the lanes, so that the passes aren't getting over to Burns to get those one-timers off cleanly. They're not getting the goalie to move laterally enough to get it to come off. Like Ovechkin's shot is elite. I'm not saying Burns isn't, but Ovechkin's accuracy is way better, I think, than Burns.
Yeah.
The power is, I think, similar.
Yes.
Ovi's probably still got a harder shot, but not by much. But his accuracy is just that much more elite, where you get that puck to him and he gets the shot off, even if the goal is covering and he gets all the way over, he's probably still not going to stop it because it's so accurate and in the corners. So that's kind of the problem. I think they're trying to work on it more so definitely than last year.
Yeah.
Last year's thing was basically he was wristing it from the right side to Pavelski to tip it in.
Yeah.
So it's changed a lot. So I think they're working on it. I think it's going to happen. I think it'll come. But
Yeah, well, and that's actually what Nicholas Egan was making that point too. Prefers to be wristing shots and controlling play at the point.
he does have a very good wrist shot.
He's probably got they said probably the fastest release from the blue line.
Exactly.
And it always seems to sneak its way through. It always seems to find its way to the net there.
It's like one of those shots that it looks kind of weak, but it's not. Like the puck is coming really fast and hurts too. I think they were saying like a wrister from Burns is not.
broke Pavelski's jaw.
Yeah,
so-
exactly, right? Forgot about that.
And got a goal.
And you got to go off it. Yes,
Yeah.
that's true.
Oh,
that's true.
Corey K is asking, does this give an emotional, mental boost? And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Corey, but I think this is the Marleau, like the signing of Marleau.
I'm sure.
Does this give an emotional, a mental boost? What does it benefit or hurt the Sharks? Does this benefit or hurt the Sharks?
I don't think it hurts them.
Well, wait, an emotional boost to
Signing Marleau.
to Marleau, to the fan base, to the room, to
To the
both.
Sharks.
Let's just say to the team,
just
Yeah.
to the team,
the players.
Like you see this guy who is your all-time points leader, right?
Yeah,
Coming back, and he's going to play on your team again. He's got signed.
I think it helps Jumbo a lot because they're like besties. That and I mean he's basically been in San Jose all summer, so it's not like these guys don't know him. Even the new guys don't. They all know him because
They love him.
They've been training with him. Like before training camp started, they were all skating together and playing together.
Right.
When they got into town, so it's not like he's completely new. Everyone knows who Patrick Marleau is if you're in hockey anyway. But they know him, like they know him at a personal level.
Yes.
They know how he plays.
Yeah.
They know all that stuff. So it's not that new. It's not like they're bringing I don't know, Sandis Ozolinsh back from 30
could
years
they
ago,
get
right?
him? You think?
Which they
That'd be
did
great,
before,
wouldn't it?
but
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like it's not someone that's been gone so long that nobody on the team knows him.
Well, like when Brad Stewart left and then Brad Stewart came back, there was a fairly
Scott
good
Hannon.
hiatus.
Had
Scott
a-
Hannon, same
yeah.
thing. There was a good hiatus between that. So when you come back, a lot of the faces maybe are gone. Some of the mainstays are still there, but a lot of the faces maybe have moved on since then, right? So in this case, you're only 2 years removed, really, right? So, you know, most of the same faces. And then when he was doing the practices with the Sharks, it was not like practice, but they were just kind of like goofing off before the offseason, the training camp stuff really kicked off. You would see him. There was pictures where he was on the bench with all these guys in their Shark uniforms, and he was wearing his Toronto Maple Leafs uniform. But he was with them on the bench, and so yeah, I mean, it's, you know, like you said, there's that chemistry level, and I think you had a question earlier about does it affect the locker room. I don't think it does, because he's been hanging out with him the whole time anyway. So most of the guys he already knows, and he's already played with. And the other guys that he didn't know, he's been hanging out with them during the offseason anyway. So, yeah, I don't think it's almost like, is it a boost? Yeah, maybe, because it's like, hey, we got this guy that's pretty cool. He's our buddy. Now he's playing with us. So maybe it is kind of a boost in that way. But
it's another, like, I don't want to say legend. That's not quite the right word, but...
San Jose legend.
Yeah, if you limit it to just San Jose, he's...
Local legend.
But, I mean, you think about the younger guys that are new on the team, right? And they get to play, like, LeBanc. Mm-hmm. You're playing with Thornton and Marleau, two guys that are possibly going in the Hall of Fame. I mean, Thornton for sure. Marlowe's like up there. Like you can make the case that he could. Now imagine, I'm not trying to get too far ahead of myself, right?
Okay. Hey, quit jinxing the team.
Imagine the Sharks this year win a cup.
Oh yeah, let's not get too far ahead of myself.
I'm just saying, like, now for sure those guys are going to be they're Hall of Fame locks. Far ahead.
They win 6 in a row. All right.
I'm just saying, like, because we had questions in this in preseason, I guess, and the lives about retiring jerseys and all that stuff.
Yes.
This is the season. This is it right here. You're gonna see the legend of Patrick Marleau and Joe Thornton be solidified, or not.
Are we gonna bring back Pavs midseason then?
No, not until he's 40.
Make that line.
Not until he's 40.
Oh, no. You have to have like AARP
he's gotta wait
before you can.
Yeah, he's gonna wait. Yeah, AARP card. Anyway, that's a different topic. I'm just saying, like, for those guys, you see this guy who can still play.
Yeah.
And he's coming on, you're like, oh my God, I'm playing with these guys that have a combined probably 3,000 games played.
Right.
It's insane. It's nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that would make my head explode if I was a rookie and I'm playing with them. Like crazy.
Patrick's here.
Oh,
Patrick's
Patrick.
Here.
Cabral.
Who's going to fetch him?
Joe, can you
Patrick Cabral is here?
Yeah.
The Patrick Cabral?
The Patrick Cabral is here in Studio A.
Studio A?
Yeah, Studio A. We're still working on Studio B. We got a ways to go.
Studio A will be retired.
Studio A will be retired. And he'll get his garage back.
Basement.
What garage?
Basement. What garage? Yeah, no, what garage? What are we talking about? Oh boy, there he is. How's it going? Yeah, he's popped right on in. You do we mic him up, or how do we do this?
I don't know. You can grab the hand. I don't know what you're doing.
You want to just throw your head in front of the camera?
We don't know what we're doing either.
Just throw your head in front of the camber real quick. Say hello.
Say hello to the fine people.
They won't be able to hear
Don't
you. But
scare them with that
camera
mustache.
right there. Yeah, just pop in. There it is.
A little lower. A little lower. Just.
Hey guys, how's it going?
There you go.
If you couldn't hear him, he said, "Hey guys, how's it going?" So yeah, that's Patrick. He is the GM, I guess, of the Xbox EA SHL, the Fin Factor team.
Right.
So yeah, that's the guy.
You gonna be jumping on tonight, Patrick?
Well, I'm a
Talking the mic. Oh, talking the mic.
Well, guys, I'm a little far away from my Xbox right now, so probably not.
Yeah, you live in Seattle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I live in Seattle.
So
Technically, the town is called Puyallup, which is about an hour south of the city, but it's closer to SeaTac, which is where I launch out of to go to my base. I'm an airline pilot. That's why I'm based in San Francisco. That's why I'm down here a lot.
Nice.
Very cool. Very cool. Awesome. So yeah, he won't be on tonight, unfortunately. And you know what the thing is? The Xbox folks, we saw the roster. There's a lot of goose eggs on there.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I was rubbing him a little bit.
Not him.
Well, he had goose eggs too. That's
well,
why.
Okay, then sure. But I mean, come on, hey, people, when you're joining up the
around.
club, you got to get going.
But since then, I think you guys have played a couple games since then, right?
Yes, we played after the last live.
On Sunday night.
We did 2 games. There was only me included. There were 3 guys that played. So there are fewer goose eggs, but it is for the Xbox side. It is a little bit harder since we don't have Paul or Aaron giving
Fair
us
Sorry. The extra boost.
It's kind of better that we're
Paul.
not
Aaron
playing.
just trips everybody.
Yeah.
I've gotten better. I've gotten
At
better.
tripping?
At tripping, yes, he's actually gotten closer to people before he trips.
Now
them,
I'm
which is
using the X button, so I'm
jeez.
getting more slashes and hooks.
great. Anyway, if we have any
So-
other questions you want to go
Well, I
over?
was going to say Angelo Nunez.
Okay.
Marleau is the only player in about 100 NHL to score 2 goals in consecutive games to start a season. And that's not this season, but I guess he's somebody who holds that record.
Oh, okay, cool, great. I would love to see that happen in Chicago. It almost happened tonight for Evander Kane. He got a goal, almost got a second one, I believe.
Yeah.
So you were close.
Close.
You were close.
It's halfway there.
I tried to give you credit on Twitter. I don't know if you caught that or not. I was saying okay, we got it, Aaron.
Yeah, in our episode, that came out today, I said that look for Kane to get 2 goals and lead the team into getting their first win. It didn't work. They were close. They came back. We talk about the game.
Fair
last
enough.
night.
Yeah.
I thought that third period they had a surge in the beginning of the third period.
Yeah.
And almost tied up the game. Obviously they didn't, but I thought they kind of came back a little bit. And I thought they looked better,
Yeah.
a little tighter. But then mistakes again, messed it up once again.
Yeah. I did, before I jump in, Patrick, I don't know if you heard that or not. Patrick just whispered to Joe, "This is awesome." so exciting. I think the second period went really well. They had a lot of pressure. But when it went to 4-1, immediately in your head you're going, game's over, right? It's over. Then they score that goal and you think, maybe.
That's typical Sharks to me, where
Maybe.
they get close. Like I'm shocked it didn't make it 4-3,
Yeah.
and then almost tie it, and then give up the empty netter. That's usually what happens.
Yeah, that was a too little, too late situation.
Of
And
course.
it was nice for Burnsy to get his first goal of the season out of the way, which is awesome.
Confidence booster, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and we're looking for Erik Karlsson to kind of do the same thing.
He had a great chance tonight, man.
He did, yeah.
He got it right in the
Yeah.
slot and just hit it right into his chest, I think, right in the middle.
Burns' 50-goal season all started in that Nashville game. Do you guys remember that?
50?
I'm just trying to push it. That's all.
He's saying,
Oh.
yeah.
It all started with that one game.
When
Got
you'll
it.
hear us say that in our flashback after the season is over, is what Joe's trying to say.
Oh, Jesus. So somebody mentioned it, and I'm terrible at scrolling.
Go ahead.
and reading it, but they were talking about tonight the Sharks actually put like a solid 20 minutes together, but they play 60 minutes unfortunately.
Yes.
And somebody else had pretty good stats where they were saying, and I will find it. Nicholas Egan, Sharks have played 240 minutes of hockey, never led, been tied for 19 minutes and 48 seconds, and trailed for the other 220 and 12.
Yikes.
So that's just not.
That's brutal.
That's not a way to
Yeah.
start a season. But I will say this: having all these problems now
Better
and sorting
than-
them out now is better than, all right, we are 3/4 of the way through the season, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden we forgot how to play hockey.
And I encourage you to check out our episode 56, was it?
The one that came
Yeah,
out today.
episode. I
Yeah.
encourage you to check that out if you haven't yet, because we kind of talked a little bit about that stuff. So,
Yeah, imagine that happening right after the All-Star break.
Yeah.
Or right after the trade deadline.
yeah.
different sport, but the Giants did that a few years back where they were like in first or no, I think they were in first, and All-Star happened, and they lost like
Yeah.
the next 30 games in a
Yeah,
row. It
well,
was
and at the
ridiculous.
trade deadline is the worst, because then you can't do anything about it. You're stuck with who you have, right?
Yeah.
Best thing you can do is call people up, and that's not really
Okay.
working right now. So, unfortunate.
Marleau question actually, Nicholas Egan. Do you guys do you think that some fans remember what Marleau did for the Sharks on ice and expect that that's what he will do for the Sharks on ice?
That's kind of what I said earlier. Is I don't want people to expect this is going to be the 60, 70 point Marleau that was right after the original lockout of 03, 04, or 04, 05. So I'm thinking 40 to 50 points at most. Probably I'd be happy with 15 to 20 goals. 50 points actually is kind of pushing it.
I think it's a little much.
I think
but
15 to 20 goals, 40, 45 points. I'd be happy with that.
Because again, he's going to be. I mean, a lot of the other seasons where he's gotten like 40 or 50 up there, he's playing either second or first line minutes. He's going to
Yeah.
be playing a lot less minutes.
Yeah,
I know
exactly.
DeBoer still likes to rotate a lot, and
It's all
you
about
play the
power
hot
play
hand,
time.
but
When you get to those 70 points, it's how many power play points did you get? Because that's usually what's padding your stats a little. Not padding, but that's what gets you into that next echelon from, like one of the,
or hurting you in the Sharks case so far.
yeah, but like an elite guy that's a 5-on-5 scorer that doesn't get any power play time, they're probably getting 50 to 60 points. Like Kevin LeBanc had 60 points last year, but 15 or 20 of those were on power play.
he was crushing on the power play.
Right.
So, yeah,
So-
if he wasn't on the power play and it was all 5-on-5 time, you're talking about 30, 40 points, somewhere in that
Exactly.
range, yeah. No, I
So
hear what you're saying.
That's what I'm expecting from Marleau. I mean, he'll get a little bit of power play time on the second power play unit, but you see how often that first power play unit's out there for a minute and a half of the Patrick Marleau!
Patrick Marleau!
I thought you guys weren't going to start on time again.
Do-over? Do-over?
Yeah, let's start from the top.
Right.
Okay.
All right,
We'll
so
just do it
so
all.
If you're just tuning in, the Sharks signed Patrick Marleau.
Anyway, where were we?
I don't know.
Well, we were talking
We
about...
got some more questions, I'm sure.
Yeah.
There's still 53 people.
No,
By the
most
way,
of it- most of it was
before
just-
before we get to that, thank you guys for sticking around. I know that sucked, but we do appreciate it. And that TV just went out, so I'm gonna pretend like we're still on. I hope we're still on. Yeah, thank you guys for sticking around for that. I know we've had some gremlins in the works here sometimes, and it's nice to be able to say, well, how many guys are still there? And the number he gave me was pretty much the same number. So
6.
we appreciate that. All 6 of you are still there.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom.
Nice. Anyway, so again, thank you guys for hanging out. We appreciate your patience. Got anything to throw in there?
Brash
Or
John.
am I apologizing for nothing?
No, man, you can
Okay, good.
apologize. Like we you know, whatever.
Go ahead, fire away.
We lost audio. Audio's out. Oh wait, no, sorry. I don't even read those ones. Brash John. For me, Bergman is disappointing so far. Ferraro is great.
Yes. I think every forward that's a rookie has been, I don't want to say disappointing because that's not really fair. They're not NHL players, guys. They're really AHL quality players.
I think Bergman's been fine. He's just a fourth line grinder.
Okay,
guy.
for his role.
Right. That I wasn't expecting more than that. I
Okay.
wasn't expecting a score to come out of him.
The one thing that, I mean, and I said this, was there was the one game that Leon Bergman had that everyone was like, oh, Bergman might get a shot now. And I was like, you know what? Before that one game, no one said a word about Bergman.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt like it was just kind of one of those, you know, he did something great. Oh, him, you know, and then all of a sudden he's on the roster and people are kind of like looking at him. I don't know. Like I think again for his role, the role that they have him playing out there, it works for him because he is kind of one of those guys that grinds and gets his body in there. But I think with the exception of him in that role, most of the forwards that are rookies have not really been like wowing anyone. So to that point, Ferraro, yes, has been phenomenal. Now I was saying that if Ferraro is going to continue down this path and he's going to be playing like this, there are some guys that I could see looking over the shoulder to maybe save a few bucks in the cap space and then get one of those right wingers that can replace the rookie on, you know, more like the higher end lines there. So we've got Patrick Marleau, but if he ends up playing with Jumbo, then maybe you're still looking for a guy to play alongside either Couture or Hurdle, right? If I mean Kane's back there, but maybe you're still looking for to make a trade to do that. So if a guy like Brendan Dillon is replaceable because Ferraro's able to play 82 games now, again, we've seen him in a small amount of games here, and that's the thing you have to be careful of is you can't go, Ferraro's our guy, why don't we unload? And obviously it has nothing to do with us. Doug Wilson knows not to do that. But like
Sharks fans, I think, are a little spoiled in a way because Marc-Edouard Vlasic came in as an 18-year-old.
I think most of them have kind of forgotten about that.
But still, like he came in and was like, oh, this guy's solid. He should be a top defenseman. It is way too early. I think if they're going to make a trade like that and have Ferraro playing in the lineup regularly, this trade won't come until the deadline. Yeah. And then you're kind of messing with chemistry with Dillon, assuming that he's the one that gets moved, right? Mm-hmm. And who's his partner.
Well, I got two things on that. So some Brash John again was asking, is it true that it is true he is better as a grinder, but wasn't he advertised as a scorer?
I think he was advertised as a high energy guy that can score, not a scorer like a elite winger kind of guy.
I think most guys coming out of their junior clubs or those guys are all goal scorers. When you make it to the NHL, you're not a goal scorer anymore because you're fodder, right?
I think Mark Smith talked about this when he was on here, right? Like everyone that makes the NHL was a goal scorer. They were the best player on their team growing up, always. And then you get to the NHL level and they're like, well, we need you to be a penalty killer. Like, go do your job. And that's, you have, in Mark Smith's case, you have wheels, you have face-off skills, you have no fear. Go out there and block some shots and go, a 5-on-3 penalty kill with 2 sticks broken. Just go get it done.
So awesome. That was so awesome. Yeah. I really love watching that.
Yeah.
I got a second part to that. When Shemek comes back, because you were saying, like, who's going to be playing, right? When Shemek comes back, who sits, Ferraro or Shemek?
Ferraro's going to get sent down. And that's only because he's waiver exempt and he'll get way more minutes than getting either scratched or 6 minutes a night. So it'll be better for his development in the long run, and I mean like over the next couple seasons, not just this year, for him to get sent down. But that's my thought.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You said we had $30,000 in cap space.
I thought you said 35.
35,000.
I was going off a cap friendly.
Okay, so but there were some other if somebody get moved down or whatever it was, it gave us like 600,000.
It's
right?
because we had 23 guys that were up.
Right.
So one of those guys is going to sent down, which
frees up a little bit of space.
Yeah.
But that's still not 700K. So
Right.
are we looking at moving another player down? Are we looking at making a trade? Right. I mean, something has to give.
Right.
Something has to give. Now, Kurz, I think, said Radil. If it was me, I'd be putting Radil on waivers.
Right.
And
Hope that someone takes him off your hands.
well, even if they don't take him off the
he's
hands,
down
he's in the
in waivers,
AHL, so he's off your sheets for the NHL cap, right?
Yeah, Deuce's Shoeless was saying Bergman is actually better than Radil.
I could see that.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I could see that. And it's a shame because Radil's got the body for it, and he had flashes of goal scoring in the previous season, but it was just hasn't come together.
Consistency.
Yeah.
That's the big thing for rookies is Bergman has some flashes of brilliance, right? Randomly. But you need to be consistent.
That's the big thing for any player in the NHL, right?
My point is like the rookies that are trying to get into that lineup and aren't sticking.
Yeah.
And why they aren't sticking. Because they're not being consistent. And not just scoring. It's not just about scoring. It's about Pete DeBoer likes a 200-foot game that you have to be responsible in your end, which is why Kevin LeBanc is getting busted all the time because he's an elite, maybe not elite, but he's up there for scoring.
Yeah.
He's got some elite talent there, but the defensive aspect of his game is just not up to snuff, and it's not the NHL level, which is why he's getting burned. The players are, whatever. The Sharks are getting burned because of it. Like, they're getting goals scored against him when he's on the ice.
What do you guys think about Brodzinski?
Brodzinski. I like him. I like him for the role that he plays.
Third or fourth line.
I think he's basically a Leon Bergman type, right? So I think he plays well there. Now I did see him playing
rotated now.
Yeah, sure, and I did see him playing alongside Jumbo during the practices and whatnot, and he seemed to fit in perfectly right there because you have Sorensen with some pretty decent wheels and a nice little scoring touch, and you have Brodzinski who is going in like a bulldog after this puck. And he's actually got pretty decent scoring touch as well, and he's just kind of like that go guy, right? And then you've got, of course, the setup man in Jumbo Joe. Well, I mean, for me right now, Jumbo's been kind of, I don't know what the word is, but I don't like talking bad about the guy because I love him, but he has not looked good at all in the games that we've seen him play. And especially tonight, fumbling the puck left and right and getting it picked. He's not even protecting the puck that well right now. So just lots of things going on with Jumbo. But back to Brodzinski, I thought he fit pretty well on that line. You've got that grinder, the crash and bang. You've got the guy who can set up the play, and you've got the guy with the wheels who can shoot the puck.
I had a question on more of it. Like I wanted to know your guys' take. Doug Wilson has always said about our goal is to win the Stanley Cup. However, in our discussions on the lives and your shows, and you been talking about a lot of rookies, and then even Pete DeBoer has been talking about how he's had to teach more than in previous years. Can we just admit, in my opinion, can we call this a retooling year and accept the mistakes, accept that this is going to take more time? So in my question to you is, what would be the appropriate time frame to kind of just like, all right, when do we actually do this? When should we expect the consistency of our rookies, as well as in terms of bringing on Patty Marleau? Does this overall just shoot towards retooling for this year is my question.
So I'll go ahead and start taking that one. In terms of are we retooling, I've kind of felt this way after the signing of Erik Karlsson. It felt like we didn't have enough money to get the other spots filled in with veterans. So we're filling in with what we have left, right? What we have left to me looked really promising, and I was really looking forward to seeing those guys step in and hopefully step up, learn quickly. That's just not happening, unfortunately. Having said that, those guys not being able to really impress the coaching staff, I do think this is kind of a retooling year. And I don't think it's a bad thing. Look, people are saying, gosh, I don't like that we signed Erik Karlsson, now we can't get Pavs back, and now we suck. And it's like, to me, that's the total wrong way to look at it. The right way to look at it is you've got this young, extremely talented defenseman in Erik Karlsson. You've got him for the next 8 years. So even if we miss out this season, not miss out, we're going to make playoffs, but even if we miss out this season on making a really good, strong cup run, it's to the detriment of, 1 year on his contract? Like, I'll take him for the next 7 years. The cap goes up. We fill in those positions with guys that can compete for a cup. So to me, yeah, I could see this as being a bit of a retooling year. It's not a throwaway. We're still going to make the playoffs, just like I talked about last season. It's not a throwaway season.
Right.
We're going to make the playoffs. We're going to be competitive to some light, right? But I don't know that this is considered a good, strong Stanley Cup contending team. And that's okay, because the next season, when the cap goes up, we may have that space to do that. If Dylan's contract is up, Dell's contract is up, I mean, there's some guys, there's a lot of money coming off the books. We can sign some free agents to kind of fill in those spots, and you're still going to have Erik Karlsson for 7 more years. You're still going to have Brent Burns for 5 more years?
6, I think.
6 more years? Vlasic is, I think, is 6 more years after that.
Okay.
So
So one more, I think, than Burns.
Basically, those the big 3 that's on your defensive core, you're still going to have them for many, many years, except that you're going to have space now for the salary cap. So I think he did this knowing that, it is going to constrain us this season. We may not make the cup run that we're hoping to make, but we're going to be able to be better in the years that are coming. So maybe year 1 after this or year 2 after this, where you've got more space, more to work with. You can sign some of those guys. Maybe your rookies are stepping up now and able to play at the NHL level, whereas right now, sort of not so much. So you save a little bit of money with them. You bring in a guy who's able to play, and all of a sudden now you've got the Stanley Cup contending team, and it's because you signed Erik Karlsson to this 8-year contract. It's because you didn't take on Joe Pavelski, right? So to me, that's the way I look at it. Yes, I think absolutely right. It is a bit of a retooling year. So that's kind of my take on it. Go ahead.
See, I don't think retooling is the right word. I think because of what you said earlier, the salary cap next year is supposed to be going up by a lot because of new TV contracts coming in, bunch of guys coming off the books. To me, this is a year that the Sharks are kind of built for the long run future with Karlsson, Burns, Vlasic, Jones, Couture, Hurdle,
Kane.
Meyer, Kane. Like, these guys are the core guys of the team that are signed long term. This year's kind of a grab on and hold and wait, because they're going to make playoffs this year.
Yeah.
But maybe not the strongest team compared to last year's team, especially. But they're still going to contend. You saw, I hate doing this. St. Louis last year, just like the Kings a couple years ago when they were the 8th seed, and then I think the 6th seed. Like, it doesn't matter as long as you get to the dance, you're going to have a chance. So I think this year is
that a bumper
nice
sticker
rhyme.
somewhere?
Thanks. I think this year is more of just we're so tight to the deadline. We have to fill those holes with rookies for now.
Yeah.
Next year it's going to change everything. So, but this year they're still going to be able to compete. Winning is going to change everything. Once they get back over 500, everyone's going to be like, "Oh, this team's great." And I saw, I think I was on Reddit today or yesterday, I can't remember, but there was an argument about, we shouldn't have signed Karlsson because that got rid of 3 guys. Pavelski,
Donskoy, Nyquist.
Nyquist.
We're going to sign all 3 of those, though.
Right, but if you didn't have Karlsson, you possibly could have.
Sure.
Right? So they kind of blame Doug Wilson for not doing that and losing those guys, and that's why the Sharks can't score. To me, I like Karlsson. I think he is probably one of the best defensemen that you can ever find on the market, on the open market. You're never going to find someone like him again. And the Sharks locked him up for 8 years, which is insane. So the Sharks are in the future and even this year are still going to be a top team and an elite team.
Should that be a T-shirt? Get to the dance, you've got a chance.
Just get to the dance.
Just get to the dance, you've got a chance?
Yeah.
I like that.
Not until after I get my Fin Factor sweatshirt.
Okay.
Nicholas Egan actually
And
mentioned a
toaster.
good point, saying it can't be retooling year because the Sharks don't have a first-round pick. And normally that is something like you have done so terrible that you are now.
That's the other thing. People get so upset about those first round picks because they're used to playing NHL, EA Sports, NHL when you stockpile first round picks like I do.
But the first round pick thing, that's not just retooling. That's usually like part of rebuilding.
Look how many first
you
round
build
picks
you build
the Sharks
around like
had,
Austin Matthews, or you build around.
But they're so late. like they're so late because the Sharks do so well in the regular season that it doesn't matter. Like,
isn't it hilarious that we have to complain that the Sharks do so well all the time that we don't get really good picks? The funny thing is, again, to me, the wizardry behind Doug Wilson is that he takes those picks, gets guys like Evander Kane, or like Joe Thornton or whoever. I mean, any of these guys.
Joe Thornton didn't even trade draft picks.
But I mean, you can get players like these guys, right? That's what I'm saying.
You're trading away those first round draft picks, which is a gamble.
Totally,
if those guys are going to be NHL caliber or all-star players.
Nikolai Goldobin,
exactly.
Mirko Mueller, right? I mean, there's two examples, but I mean, like, really, I would
they're
rather
NHL players, but they're not all-stars.
So the question is this: do you think you could take, if you had Mirko Mueller and Nikolai Goldobin right now, do you think you could trade both of them to get like an Evander Kane
or Brent Burns?
Do you think you could?
No.
Right. So to me, I would rather just take the pick, and if I know I've got a guarantee in another player, I'll just take the player. Why roll the dice, right? I would rather just take especially he's in his prime.
Exactly.
Right? So to me, that's just it's a no-brainer. I would much rather do that, and because the guy that you drafted like 21st overall or whatever it is, unless it's a really deep draft, like I would rather just take the guarantee.
That's what people are upset is because this year's draft is supposed to be a deep one, kind of like the 2015 one. But even then, the Sharks this year
they can trade up. They can move. I mean, like a lot
this
can
year
be done.
They traded their first round pick for this last draft that we had, and they were 29th overall pick.
Yeah,
what was that? 10 years ago? 15 years ago? That's a second round pick.
See, and then people look at it and they say, well, we traded up for, I forget who it was, and 2 picks later was Anthony Mantha or something, right?
You just can't play that game.
No, I know exactly. You can't do that. Because that's hindsight is 2020. You never know if that player is going to pan out or not. It's great that he did, but when you always go back and say, well, this player got taken over here, we could have had him. They must suck at their jobs. It's like, well, no, they must have seen something in that player that they weren't sure about.
It's also the need of the organization at the time too.
And the need,
that plays a part of it, not the whole part, but another part.
Yeah, it's better. I mean, like I do agree that like trading away first round picks, you miss out on that. But what if, the one that got away?
Right.
But you are trading up for an established player.
And known good.
Yeah. I think the thing that people want to see out of that first round is there is that whole what if factor, but there's also you get them so cheap that you can sign other players under you have the salary space because you're bringing that guy in for almost nothing, right? He's a couple years at a discount.
That's assuming that he's ready for an NHL roster. You're talking about guys like Connor McDavid and Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner. These guys, yes, they're going to make the roster, and yes, they're going to be on entry-level contracts. Mirko Mueller was not ready for the NHL right out of the draft. He wasn't ready for the NHL. He's probably still not ready for the NHL.
Kurtz's article is just talking about how that year when he played, he was kind of thrown into a world in the NHL and he wasn't ready.
Yeah.
And it kind of messed him up a little bit.
Okay, there you go. That's all I have to say about that.
That's all I have to say about
You're taken.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
Nicholas Egan correcting the record here. Was more saying you can't use this year as a development year for the young guys, not to worry about making the playoffs. The first rounder would always be a lottery pick in the deep draft.
No, the Sharks are not missing the playoffs this year. They're not. That's not even on their radar.
Did you lock it down? Is that guaranteed?
Yeah, we're 4 games in right now. 4 games.
Sharks are going 78-4.
They're gonna rip off this big win streak, and they're gonna be over 500. Everyone's gonna be like,
yeah.
I didn't doubt them.
It's 2 different camps, though. You got the positive group and you got the negative group. When we're on a losing streak, the negative group is talking.
You know what, Paul? There is a third group. There is the scarred group.
Okay.
There is a group who has seen the Sharks play so well and not produce, and you're like, how? You have so much talent.
Yeah.
And like a couple guys are saying, like, you get to the playoffs every year, you have nothing to show for it, unfortunately. And it's not like it's easy by any means. Yeah. But other teams have won multiple in the time that we've known 0. And we're like, but we have the talent. What's the last thing we need?
If you told me though that you're gonna be a true cup contender, not guaranteeing a cup, but a true cup contender, meaning you are expected to go to the Stanley Cup final. But the other 9.
You mean like the Tampa Bay Lightning?
Yeah, exactly like the Tampa Bay Lightning. But then let's say out of 10 year span, right? The other 9 years you're going to be basically rebuilding and you're not going to make playoffs and it's going to suck. I would rather take the roll of the dice 10 straight years.
Oh yeah.
Than guarantee to make the Stanley Cup Finals 1 year but suck the other 9. You know what I mean? To me, it's just I would rather see postseason every season. And just kind of, hey,
well, like you
what
said,
happens. Let's do it.
You get there and you have a chance. If if you're, you know,
You mean
Do
not
say it
necessarily.
right. Say it right.
You get to the dance.
You get to
If
the
you
dance.
get to the dance, you have a
You
chance.
have a chance.
Whatever.
And Fin Factor makes your body tingle.
But you know, if you're able to.
Blue screen.
Oh God, they're all coming back.
I think Patrick. I looked over. I think Patrick just threw up in his mouth a little bit. He's like,
I got a flight to catch. I gotta get out of
But
here.
like I
like right now.
I will say that, like, personally, I do. I think that's why I get so upset when they play like they've played these last 4 games. Is it's like, you know, they're better than this.
Yes.
You know, and that's the thing, is it's like
It's frustrating.
there's always we always talk about, like, there's 2 teams that show up. There's either the Sharks or there's this other team that plays in Sharks uniforms. And
know
you're
what,
like,
though?
that's not the same guys.
Again,
why is he like?
That's every fan base. That's every single team.
I am representative
Every
of an
team
armchair
goes through this.
coach right here. So.
Every team goes through this. Every team goes through, going through a stretch of games where they're terrible, and then they go through a stretch of games where they're phenomenal, and then the whole hockey world's going, "Look at them now, they're awesome," and it's just not necessarily
People are
the
just
case.
upset because the Sharks are dropping in the power rankings. And nobody's talking about the Sharks other
Paul,
than how bad they are.
I'm worried about what ESPN's saying about them. You know?
Oh, are you?
No, I'm not
Yeah,
at all.
I'm not either.
The ref's fault.
It's the rest. Sure. Then what was your point before that, though? There was something you were saying before.
Ever have points? What?
No, there was something you were saying before that last point there.
Too long, didn't read.
Yeah,
What
oh
did
well.
you just say all night?
Oh well.
Moving
Doesn't
on.
matter. Yeah, moving on.
Moving on.
Did
Is
someone
there
just
something
say
to
that?
move on to?
No.
Or?
Too long didn't read. What's
What happened?
Audio issues and gremlins. No.
Yeah, we've only
Again?
been on the air
No.
for like 5 minutes.
I know. It's,
Hey, we're not recording.
so I what,
The
so
show
what do you
is
got?
so professional. It's-
What do you
We're
got?
gonna need a live
There's
audience
a lot
at
of
some
talk
point.
about, like, they need to change their style of play. We are a puck possession team, but they're doing a lot of dump and chase right now.
okay.
Talk amongst yourselves.
We're a puck possession team that is having a hard time possessing the puck right now. So when you see us trying to break across the blue line and we're getting stuffed, or we have to flip it past and try to chase it down, and then they end up recovering it and sending it back out, and then it's a transition game, and you've got these, again, odd man breaks sometimes and whatever else. It's just it's one of those things where you try to play a possession style. Nothing's clicking for them right now. So, and again, I feel a lot of this, I don't want to blame on the rookies, but I feel a lot of this has to do with guys that, again, like Couture said, they're not in the right spots. I mean, I may not necessarily know those right spots. Like I said, there was a player in practice the other week, whatever it was, that got, verbally accosted. And it was because instead of being in the F2's spot, he was in F3's spot. And
Nobody's guessed who this player is yet, have
Huh?
they?
I don't know. I'm sure you guys can guess. I mean, it's pretty simple. I mean, we've already kind of said he should be
Stop it.
whatever.
Stop
Okay,
it.
we're stopping right there. I don't. What does it matter? It's okay for us to throw it out there, isn't it?
That's fine.
I'm okay to say it.
Not gonna play
No,
anymore.
no,
No, don't say it.
no.
Okay,
You can say it
fine.
later if
I
he's
won't.
not on the
Alright.
team anymore.
All right. If
I'm
he
gonna
gets,
blur you.
He's not on the team.
you can blur my face.
We're gonna get demonetized if you say his name.
No, but yeah, it's. I mean, look, some of these guys aren't playing up to snuff right now. They're not playing. Not just they suck at what they do. They're not in the right spots. Again, there's mistakes versus effort, right? One of these players is still making the mistake when he shouldn't be making the mistake. The young guys, the younger guys, are making mistakes. And then you've got a guy like Kevin LeBanc who the other night made an effort error, right? He didn't give any effort when, even if you're out of gas, you still move your legs. That's not a mistake. That's just you choosing not to, okay? So that's the difference between the two. So I think you still have a lot of guys that are just making mistakes. And again, Coach DeBoer said, I'm doing a lot more teaching than I've ever done. So hopefully having Marleau back in the fold helps that. I'm not saying he's like the offensive dynamo that's going to score. I'm just saying he's probably going to be in the right spot. And I think just that alone is going to help them get that chemistry back, help them get across that blue line a little bit easier, and help them possess the puck in the zone a lot easier. Well, you have a look on your face. I don't know.
I do. I think I figured out the problem.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
I think the team
And
completely
stream cuts out.
Go ahead.
they forgot to get their Chris combos from La Villa. Well, Glenn. I blame Pavelski for not organizing it and bringing it on the plane on their road trip.
Mid-sip.
You
I held it
out
in.
on me.
I held it in. Yeah, absolutely. No.
Get your Chris combo today
at
La
the
Villa.
Berticelli's La Villa Gourmet Italian Delicatessen.
There you go.
Woo! That's a whole lot of words.
Yeah.
They're, the TLDR or whatever it is.
It's a mouthful,
just
just like the Chris combo.
That's what I said. See, again, he steals my lines. He thinks he's witty, and he takes my lines. It is witty. Don't give me that look.
No,
No, it is honestly. Go to Willow Glen. They're phenomenal. They're really nice people. They're always packed. If you go during lunch, good luck because you're gonna be sitting there for an hour. There's that many.
You can
people.
call it in ahead of time.
Yeah, call it in ahead. It's a good idea. So definitely go there. Check out the Chris combo. Phenomenal sandwich. So.
Along the lines of you saying, DeBoer's been doing more coaching this year than he's ever had to do.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, what about a change in coaching? I don't think. And super producer Jason over here said, theorizing, what would a change in coaching do at this point?
This was in Kurz's mailbag. 2 days ago it came out, I think. Yeah. Someone asked about coaching change. And again, the coaching change issue and the way, usually it doesn't work. Usually they change a coach in midseason and the team usually plays the exact same, as bad as they were. St. Louis.
The first handful of games, they come out of the gate strong, and then after that, it kind of regresses back.
St. Louis happened to be the shining model of firing their coach mid-season and getting a new coach, along with getting a new goalie from the
Thank
NHL,
you.
along with a whole bunch of other things.
Keep it coming.
So we fire Wilson, fire DeBoer, and get rid of Jones, and what happens?
So
we
anyway,
win 3 cups in a row.
Kurz's mailbag. This question was asked in his mailbag, and Kurz is like, no, he's won the most series or something. I can't remember what it was for the Sharks. Nobody has won since DeBoer started coaching the Sharks 4 years ago. Nobody in the NHL has won more playoff series than he has, or something like that.
Yeah. 6 playoff series wins in those 4 years.
We're here to win Stanley Cups, not regular seasons, right? We don't want President's trophies. So he's the best bet to win a Stanley Cup. There's no reason to fire him. It would be a terrible decision.
We want banners for our fanners.
Oh, God.
Another shirt, guys. Lock it up.
Shut it down.
Downvote.
Shut it down, boys.
Anyway, coaching change is not the thing. It's not going to happen.
Can we get everybody to hit the thumbs down button really quick, and then just to see how much you disliked his comment, and then take them all away, please?
Kurz is saying they wouldn't make a coaching change unless it was disastrous through Thanksgiving.
Yes. What about the thought that the players aren't listening to the coach anymore? That's also when you would make not saying that's happening. I'm saying that would be another situation.
Correct? I don't think that's the thing because there's just too many new players. It's not that they're not listening; they're just still learning. It's the system. They're learning the system.
Yeah. And I think, like what Couture had said, there's some guys that are just not listening. They know where to be, that we teach this. And I don't know if some people were maybe a little confused on that message, thinking that had something to do with him criticizing DeBoer in some way, but I didn't take it that way at all. I took it as him specifically saying that most of the rookies or the player that's been there for a year was in the wrong spot. Not so much the veterans. Some people took it as the veterans weren't in the right spots either. Nobody was in the right spot. But
the other way to think about it is every year the Sharks maybe replace 3 guys, 4 guys at most. This season, if you take Kane out because he was suspended, that's another person. They're replacing probably 7 guys that were in the lineup last year that are not regulars, and they all have to learn the system. It's a lot. It's a big change.
Yeah.
I think it's more that than them not listening to the coach. I mean, other than LeBanc not listening to the coach.
Controller disconnect.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, that's kind of my take on it. It's I don't think it has anything really to do with DeBoer. Again, we had said in the episode, I think if either the GM or the coach were being looked at right now for replacement, I think at this point you would look at Doug Wilson more so than at Pete DeBoer. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I want Doug Wilson replaced. I don't. I think he's doing fine. But in this situation, and again, if we take the names away from it and we take the fact that it's the Sharks and there's that attachment for us, right? Take that away from it. In this situation, it would make more sense to replace the GM than to replace the coach, to me. If you're unhappy with the way the team's playing, it's because you've got too many rookies on the team, and the person who's in charge of that is the GM. So the coach has to do the coaching, yes.
He can only do so much.
No, I agree. And again, I want to reiterate, I'm not saying anything.
No, I mean even Doug Wilson can only do so much.
I understand, but I'm also saying I'm not saying that there's he's done anything wrong or that there's a problem. I'm just saying if someone's going to look at the situation and make a determination that it's either one or the other, then I could see where they would point more towards the GM than towards the coach.
People get upset about Doug Wilson and they want to fire him is because the contracts that he signed for Dell, for Melker, and who's the other one?
Erik
Karlsson, I guess.
Yeah, Erik Karlsson.
Right? I I don't think anything's wrong with the Carlson thing. I think that was a market rate, and that's what he wanted, and he got it, and he made Erik Karlsson very happy, and he's staying here. The other two, at the time, it was the right decision to make. Aaron Dell was playing well. He looked like he could possibly push to be a starter.
Yeah.
In hindsight, now, no.
And at the time, you weren't paying a defenseman 13 or whatever it is million, right?
11,
So or 11 million, yeah. So it's like, well, and then you've got what was it, 20 something million amongst your three big defensemen, right? So at the time, you weren't spending that much money on it. So $2 million for a good backup made a whole lot of sense, right?
I mean, at the same time, I don't want to defend Wilson on everything he does. He doesn't hit home runs every single time. So GMs make mistakes, and I don't know if they're quite mistakes. They're big mistakes, but we're not saying he's perfect.
Yeah.
Like, we kind of got a comment on our video yesterday, I think, about us. Like, they were kind of joking, saying, like, we can't badmouth Wilson so we don't get interviews with them.
Oh, no.
This is what we think.
Look, we're a fan show, okay? We're a show of fans for fans, and we have a decent relationship with some of the folks over at that organization, which is great. But we're not influenced by them. Let's put it that way. So the things we say, it's because that's just how we feel about it. I personally, this is the way I would run my team. It's kind of the same way that Doug's doing it. So I don't know. That's just my take on it. I mean, take it or leave it. If you like it, great. If you don't, I apologize for that. But I'm also not going to go back on it because that's just how I think. So
same.
Yeah.
He's stubborn, people. Trust me.
He's what?
I said you're stubborn.
I am stubborn.
What do you guys think? So 10 games puts us at October 24th. What do you guys think we finish out the first 10 games as far as that record?
Well, it's 0-4. You mean 10 more games?
Who else are we playing?
So
I know
first-
Chicago's up next. Then
Blackhawks
Calgary.
and Flames finish out the week.
Yeah.
Then you got Hurricanes, Sabres, and Canadians. Actually, it's Canadians and Maple Leafs on a back-to-back. So that would be the first
That's
11
brutal,
games.
man. Canadians first.
Yeah.
That's a scheduled loss right there.
Maple Leafs look good too this year.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they're
4-5-2. Or 4-5-1.
4-5-1.
4-5-1.
So they'll get 4 wins.
I think we get
from
4
now,
wins.
4 wins, 1 loss, and 1 tie.
Yeah.
Tie. 1.
You think 3? He thinks 3 wins. 2 overtime losses or
Three straight wins, 2 overtime losses, and the rest of their losses.
3 regular wins, 2 overtime losses, and the rest as regular losses.
1 loss.
Okay.
Because there's only 6 games left. We played 4.
Right, so then we have 5
Right.
losses. Yeah. What do you think?
What do I want or what do I think?
Well, what do you want? 6 and 4.
I think
They're going to go back in time.
What do I want? 0 and 10.
10-0.
I think 4-5-1.
4-5-1.
They'll get 4 wins. One of
That's
those
what Paul
might
said.
be overtime win.
That's what I said.
You can't
do
say that.
I
Paul
just
said
think
You can't do that.
okay.
You
An
Are you
overtime
just,
win.
Are you
and
just
3
doing that so I'll
regulation
stay on the
wins.
show? Is that why you're doing it? You're just forming your opinion?
You guys have co-host controversy again?
So 4-5-1. You think the same thing?
5-5.
Okay, 5.
Okay, so real quick, Card had a couple good comments here.
Okay.
One, he said we should trade Marleau.
They might have. We need to check the news right now.
I wonder if there's a no trade
He's
clause.
cheap though.
I wonder if he's a no trade clause.
Second thing was these first 4 losses are on Marleau. He should have been there.
Okay.
He wasn't playing. I don't think he was playing hard enough.
Okay, so in that sense, then those 4 losses would be on Wilson.
Kane should have been there. He shouldn't have gotten suspended.
No, I do believe that the
Sorry,
ref.
real quick, before you say that comment, I'm looking at Joe, and Joe's giving me the parent finger. He's
I
doing
am.
this.
I'm totally
in
giving
trouble.
you.
I'm in trouble now. Go ahead. What
All right,
is
now
it?
I'll give you the Bob Dole.
Okay, the Bob. No.
Oh, it's a point. I was
Clinton.
pointing.
That's Clinton, isn't it? Whatever.
No,
what's
he
your
had to
question?
hold it. What
do you want to
doesn't-
say?
Doesn't matter. The point is, I think the ref or the linesman was completely in the wrong for taking Kane down. But
Yeah.
Kane should have stood up
Right.
and verbalized
Yes.
his problems.
Yeah.
Not done any sort of physical. As soon as you see the guy, like, hey, he doesn't have a jersey on.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a sweater on.
They were both in the wrong.
Exactly. And did the linesman receive
If
any
he
sort
did,
of?
if we did, we
It
don't
went
know
under the
about it.
radar.
We don't know.
We can raise a banner that says the NHL suspended this ref. Our GM said the NHL suspended this ref.
Yeah.
The head of officials
Remember
call it.
Vegas? Our GM
they
said
did?
that the
Did they?
Knows what happened.
Oh, okay. So they had a call, but they didn't. They had a call to apologize for what happened, probably, and that was it. But I like I said, because this is. I mean, what do we tell our kids?
Go ahead.
You use your words. You don't use your. I mean,
Right.
if
Yeah.
that was a Duck or whomever they were playing at the time, I don't even remember because it was preseason still, right? It was
Vegas.
Vegas.
So if it's a Vegas player, yeah, go all out, knock him down, beat him up as much as you can. But it wasn't.
right.
It was a
Fair, the
linesman.
Vegas colors kind of look like a ref. if you
No,
look
dude,
at
I think they were playing. No.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I was joking.
Plus, I mean, come on.
They
Unless
were they were both in the wrong.
totally.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's like it's in the rules. It's like, hey, you can't do that.
Yeah.
How do we know the linesman wasn't suspended?
For 3 games.
Right.
I don't. I haven't looked it up either. I'm online right now, and I'm too lazy. So
Right.
It's Carlson's daughter's fault.
I don't know.
That's in the
What?
comments.
That's terrible.
No, I don't blame them at all. I have 2 daughters, and those days were the greatest days of my life.
Yep.
So I could see him. I was telling telling you this earlier, right? Like I could see that he might be distracted right now because
Yeah.
there's a lot going on at home, and having to play and having to travel. I mean, like that.
I
It
also-
just happened. That's such an early time.
But I also don't feel too bad for him because unlike us, he's probably got a team of people helping out at home.
yeah.
It's $11 million.
Okay.
By a
So,
lot.
well, and the 11 million, it kind of helps too.
But
But
That's a lot of
no,
help.
but I agree. You know, you want to be home with your newborn and everything.
Right.
I get that, and maybe it's distracting. Yeah, sure. But I mean, he's getting the help he needs. I'm sure.
Totally.
NHL players have kids all the time. Like it doesn't distract them.
but the day on the first day of the season,
Yeah, whatever.
I'm looking this up.
Whatever.
0-10.
0-10. You think we're going 0-10? I don't think
No.
we're going 0-10.
No.
We're not going.
I think like 3-5-2.
I think at
3-6
worst-
and 3-6-1.
At worst, we only win 3 games. At worst, that's what I think. And it's not even because of the lineup necessarily. I was just asking who we're playing, but I think at worst we win 3 games. At best, well, obviously we win out. But
I would, you know what? I would be satisfied with closer games. I don't like the goal discrepancy right now.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
that's fair.
2-3 loss, 1-2 loss,
fair.
something
I
like
just
that.
think it's going to tighten up and be closer games.
It would be nice. It's early in the season, right? And then you know,
the only way to go from here is up, people. Okay, so
that's so true.
I mean, it can't get worse than being, no points after 4 games.
I'd like to
not
see
even like an
them-
overtime loss. Or
I'd like to
something.
see the Sharks set the record for the most losses in a row and then come back
then
and
win
make
a cup.
playoffs and win a cup.
So 0-10,
Joking,
and
I don't wanna see
then
that.
by
I don't
20
wanna see
games
that.
they're going to be 10-10.
These lies.
It'd be
will
great
get-
for the show.
These lies will just get worse and worse and worse. And it'll be bad.
You guys
No,
are gonna
but
be
then if they
hiding
make the
behind
playoffs,
chairs.
it'll get really good, right?
Right.
Okay,
We'll see.
I'm for it. I'm for it. Let's do it.
So any other Marleau thoughts? Since that's what it's titled.
No.
No, I'm happy to have him.
Yeah.
I'm happy to have him.
Happy's back.
Yeah.
Should hold on? I have a question actually. Should Thornton force him to grow an extremely long beard?
I don't know that he can.
I don't think he can either. That's
I don't think he can.
like, is it like a couture beard with like 4
He's
pieces
been-
or like?
Marlo's been growing that beard since he left the Sharks originally.
Oh, he's like me then.
What he has now, I mean.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like this
Yeah.
is like 6 months of work right here.
Joe has like one hair.
I could have drawn this on this morning. You wouldn't know.
Yeah, when Joe shaves, he uses a tweezer.
Yeah, Paul shaved this morning and I shaved yesterday.
Yeah, you guys. I don't.
not that bad. Come on,
I don't
we're talking
envy you, by the way, in your having to shave every day. But
You still have the neck beard. That's
Yeah.
brutal, man.
It's pretty bad. It is what it is.
This
Italian,
is going
man.
downhill. Speaking of,
Yeah,
who's doing Movember?
you guys.
he's ready to rock. Hey, can you put your face on screen again for anybody who maybe missed it? So this is Patrick Cabral.
The pilot's beard.
The
Okay.
Don't
Pilot's beard.
scare anybody.
Oh boy.
Is it a pilot beard?
Look
You
at that
said?
thing.
Jeez.
Thank you. For anybody who doesn't know, that's
Ladies
Patrick
and
Cabral.
gentlemen,
He's
this is
the
Captain
GM of the Xbox EA SHL team. So he's popping in just to say hi, all the way from Seattle.
Anyway, I'm planning to do Movember. So we'll set up our page and we'll get some donations going for.
I'll do like
That'd be-
Fuzzvember.
I think I did it last season.
Right.
You abandoned me. So I think maybe this season,
You do
You
it by
don't
yourself, Aaron?
abandon me.
well, that would make me one heck of a friend, wouldn't it? So I think maybe this season I abandon him, and then
that's right.
Let's
let him.
leave it in the comments.
Yes.
Should Paul grow the mustache?
That's
or
a
not?
stupid thing to do. Of course they're gonna say do it.
Oh, Paul, your microphone's not working.
Oh jeez.
Jesus. No, what was it last year? So if you do abandon Aaron and Aaron has to grow the mustache by himself, all interviews are done by Aaron.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey,
It's only
how
fair.
many do we have
It's
on
only
right
fair.
now?
We still got 60 people
All
watching.
right, let's do a
What?
roll call real quick. Tell
How
us
do we get
where
more?
Tell us where you're watching, where you're at right now, and how you found us. And
You had 70, but I think you scared some people.
producer
Oh.
Jason's gonna throw it up on the screen. And let us know if Paul should grow the mustache for Movember. We'll take a vote.
I will. You know what? You know what? Here's what I'll do. Here's what I'll promise each and every one of you guys. Okay.
Bring back the Super Mario.
Everyone who says yes.
Mario.
No, because I'm you know, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of. You guys ever been to Comedy Sports? You ever been to Comedy Sports? No? Okay, it's just this improv thing, right? And the people, they try to get volunteers from the crowd, and they always go, oh, pick my friend Becky or whatever it is, because, you know, they want her to go out. Yeah, I'm pointing you and calling you Becky.
Becky.
Okay. Pick my friend Aaron, whatever, right? And they always look at the person who says that, and they say, when you volunteer others, you volunteer yourself. Now, I'm not saying you have to grow a beard necessarily.
I'm already volunteering myself.
You don't have to grow a mustache, but if you're going to call me out and say, yes, Paul should grow a mustache, then you better be willing and ready to grow that mustache, number one. Number two, there's a reason we do Movember, not just to look stupid, okay? The reason, okay, it's mostly to look stupid, but part of the reason is to raise funds to help men's health research, right? Well, not just that, it's men's health.
Oh, okay.
It could be mental even, right? So there's, that's the whole goal of it. So if you're going to tell me and to grow a mustache, I hope that you are ready and willing to help towards that cause. So if they've already written it down saying, yeah, he should, take that name down, and I'll be looking for...
See that comment?
What?
Bob Jackson.
That's
How
the
about
one.
one of you grows a mustache and the other grows a full beard minus a mustache?
Just the inverse.
But I think the beard should start to go up slightly, just to the lip, and then
Okay.
nothing.
And then nothing.
I'm planning to do...
You're doing the handlebars.
I don't think it's called handlebar. Handlebar is when it comes out.
Oh, we had this discussion last year.
Right?
No,
I'm
hang on.
going to do the, like, not quite a goatee, because I'm going to shave this part off.
Like handlebar is up. Like
Is it
Carlson.
up?
Right.
I thought.
According to-
Okay. What is this one where it goes out and then straight down?
I think he's right. It's the
Fu Manchu.
No,
No.
that comes down here though.
Minnesota, grow
but
it
no,
out.
that's this, and then it hangs.
Lundy said grow it out.
Good, Lundy. I'll be looking for your pictures of your mustache as well, and thank you for your donation.
Whoever shaves their mustache off first has to shave an eyebrow, too.
Whoever shaves it off first has to shave an eyebrow. I think, you know what, by default you have to do it because it matches the rest of your head.
No, because then I'll have no hair.
That's fine,
Mr. Clean.
right?
too
It'd look
clean.
weird if I had
Too
hair
clean.
up here and no hair on my eyebrows.
It's going to look
You
weird
gotta
when
do
I
it.
shave
Yeah?
completely for the first day. I did it before the playoffs. We did it for day one of the playoffs. This last season, and it was weird.
Well, but for Movember, you would just shave everything and leave your mustache and just let that continue to grow.
You're supposed to start clean.
You are?
Yeah, you're supposed to start clean shaven.
I thought you're supposed to bring awareness. You got to have to grow that thing over a month, remember?
No, that's me.
Oh, okay, fair. Trying to raise awareness, though.
All right. If you
Day
want,
one, buddy.
You want to start with a big
Day
old...
one, buddy.
Oh, gross. All right.
Come on now.
I'm excited for November. I'll start grow. Oh wait, I already did. Give me another.
We're back down to 7 people.
Oh, all right. Everybody said I'm out.
See, again, people are like, oh, you know, you have to be all nice about Doug Wilson. No, guys, we're so unprofessional here. Come on. Like, really?
We're very professional. We have polos.
That's true. We do have polos.
You guys have polos.
We've had polos for over a year.
You have super producer Jason
that.
to make you look good.
We have
And
swag.
You
to
have dad
sell.
shoes. I mean,
When he turns the lights off, our true faces come out. The lighting does really.
the mustache
awesome
comes
stuff.
back. It's the weirdest thing. You guys.
There's a reason we're not in 4K.
By the way, I met up with somebody. I gave you the picture, super producer Jason. I don't know if you're scrambling and able to throw on the screen or not.
No.
Put it in Slack.
But okay, never mind. I gave it to you though, so whatever.
Told you to post. We'll post it on Instagram later today.
Shark fan 27, maybe
Sounds right.
Okay.
Sounds legit.
something like
Yeah,
that.
Shark
I don't
fan
know.
27.
I remember 27. I
Is
remember
he a
there was
Rona
shark
fan?
in there. Maybe who knows?
Or was
he's
there 26 other Shark fans?
It could be. I don't know. There's
It is
26
that
of them.
time of the evening. I
A lot,
understand.
Yeah. No, but I caught him at Buffalo Wild Wings today. I was there for Tuesday. They have the bone-in buy one get one. I go every Tuesday basically.
Don't
so.
plug them too much because
No,
they're
it's
not a
delicious.
sponsor.
No, they're not a sponsor, and I shouldn't.
that back.
But I'm
should
there.
be.
No, but I'm there is the point. So if you happen to show up, you can probably going to see me there if it's lunchtime. So I have stickers in the car and whatnot. I'll throw you
If
guys
you
some
see
stickers.
Paul, he always has a hat on except on the show.
That's true.
I'm
That
not-
is accurate.
That wasn't
yeah.
a joke.
And it smells like his hockey glove.
I can't. I got my stuff in here. It doesn't smell like my hockey gloves. It smells worse.
To you.
So, yeah, our hats, which you can get on thefinfactor.com. Hit the 3 lines.
There it is.
Thank you. Hit the three lines, top corner, it says support the show. That is what you're doing. You're supporting our show, not just buying our stuff to fatten our pockets, because it doesn't go into our pockets. It goes into the set, which is going to be Studio B soon. I don't know how soon, but it's going to happen.
This weekend.
This weekend?
Yeah, if the house burns down.
If the house burns down, it's going to happen this weekend.
We're gonna lose power, so
We will lose
Oh
power.
yeah.
We're moving in the dark.
You'll have nothing else to do here anyway, so you can get Studio B ready.
Furniture in the dark.
It's all good.
All right.
Anyway,
Any more questions?
yeah, a couple actually,
all right.
or not a couple. Just let's go with this one right here.
Okay.
Ethan McGuire, who are the next AHL players likely to get a shot in the NHL? I think we're still dealing with that up and down right now, right?
I don't know if the next AHL players are going to get their shot. I think the current AHL players that are having their shot might just continue getting their shot for consistency's sake.
I'd say for another month before they start kind of maybe changing it. Maybe Shimlevsky comes up if
I
he's
would
starting to play
love
well.
that. Yeah.
And it also depends if there's injuries, if some other winger or suspension, someone gets hurt out
Yeah.
for a little while.
Yeah.
Then maybe they'll bring up one of those more scoring guys.
Yeah, I mean, who's the next guy in line to get called up? I would think that Shmelyevsky is
It
kind of in the
depends.
calling there.
Depends on the position
Yeah.
and the need. If it's a
Yeah.
fourth line guy, they're not going to throw Shimlevsky.
Yeah, that's right.
Like let me do a hypothetical here. LeBanc plays like absolute garbage for the next 15 games straight, and DeBoer is just like, I'm done with you. You're going down because you need to change. Or he can't go
Yeah,
down
he
because
gets
that's the other thing
scratched.
too.
Scratched.
Actually,
He would get
you get
scratched.
scratched. I was like, he can't just send him down to the
No.
AHL.
If he would get scratched, they'd have to send somebody else down to make room on the roster.
Right.
Because you're allowed to have 23 up on the roster, I think.
20 plus 3, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and even then, you might be sending down somebody who's performing well.
Or who's getting scratched, and they should, instead of being scratched and being in the press box every game, they get some ice time.
Yeah.
It's good to get them rotated around and stuff. So, to me, it depends on who they're filling in, what role they're going to be filling in. If it's a second line scoring winger, then yeah, I want to see Shimlevsky come up. That would be my ideal
Yeah.
player.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. I mean, I've said it the entire time for the past year. I'm looking forward to seeing this guy.
Yeah.
I really am looking forward to seeing. Now Blichfeld looked okay. Scored a goal in the preseason as well. So, guy with a scoring touch. If he can flip that switch and all of a sudden he's one of those guys that's, not like outstanding, but just, good enough at the AHL or NHL level, then I could definitely see him kind of sticking around for a while. And that would be really good for his development too, if he's able to hang. Like a 15-goal season out of him would be phenomenal. And then the next season, he's already got NHL experience. He's a little more up to speed,
Right.
really. And then he'd be ready to rock. And see, again, for me, it's not this season. It's the next season and the season after that, where I'd be really looking for a deeper run. I think we're set up well for seasons to come. And this season's not a throwaway by any means, but it's got some guys that are not quite ready, and it's because that's the necessity at the time. So
when Shimek comes back, do you guys know how many games out he is? How many more? You
They
think?
haven't really announced it.
They said it's going to be early in the season, but they haven't given like a specific date.
they said 10 days.
I commented on Reddit yesterday. I think it'll be November. I think he's got to get some rehab time in the AHL level with the Barracuda. Like get him a game or two in just to get him up to speed
Yes,
and then come up.
October 1st, they're saying 10 to 14 days away from return still, so that's
Right.
half the month. And then you got to see how he's doing, and then, you put him down there for another couple of weeks. What I'm excited for is, we were saying, or at least I was, because I like to say stuff, last year, Shimek's injury definitely changed the defensive, mindset,
Chemistry.
I think, or just overall their whole
The
game
chemistry.
plan.
See, and
got
again,
messed
we
up.
go back to just that word, chemistry. Now,
Yeah.
you've got all these rookies up and down the forward core, and you're wondering why we're not scoring goals. Well, same thing, right? When Shimek got knocked out, it messed up the chemistry of the defensive pairings, and that's kind of goofed us up there for a little bit there. So
Do you think he'll get put back right with Burns and see if because they were having, I thought they had a really good chemistry last year.
Well, yeah,
it
of course.
depends on his rehab, on his health.
I think it depends on who's playing alongside. If Vlasic is playing alongside Carlson, then yeah, I think Shimek plays with Burns. Vlasic has been playing alongside Burns off and on here and there.
Yeah.
If that's going to be the case, and Dylan's going to pair up with
Shimmick.
Carlson.
Oh yeah.
So if Vlasic's paired with Burns and Dylan's paired with Carlson, and that's working, then there's really no reason. Just Shimek is fine. Put him on the bottom pairing with Heat or Proud or whoever,
Yeah.
and then you're good to go, right? So I mean, I could see it working out again, if that chemistry, that instant chemistry that he had with Brent Burns. I'm sure they'll try that first. I'm sure they'll put them together first.
Yeah,
and then Vlasic will end up playing with Carlson, and then you'll have Dylan. See, again, this is where I'm like, Dylan needs to look over his shoulder. It's no fault of his. But once guys come back in the fold, those pairings kind of make more sense. And then you're paying, what's he getting paid? $4 million?
3, I think.
Three something.
Yeah.
I think he's one of those guys that he's expendable, unfortunately. I like him. I think he's a decent enough defenseman, and I think he's a great guy. But it just...
You remember who we traded for him?
Demers. Yeah, Jason Demers.
How's he doing?
I don't know. How's he doing?
Exactly.
Oh, really? No good? No bueno?
Not.
He's
not on Dallas anymore.
Arizona.
Yeah, is he still playing?
I think he's still playing with Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, whatever.
And you know what? That's another thing. They made that trade specifically just to shake things up.
Yep.
And just to kind of show everybody else on the team, like, no one's safe. Right? So Dylan comes in. Demers out. It could be one of those things that we see this season. Who knows? You know, hey, you guys don't want to play? All right, we'll bring in somebody who does. Send a prospect out, bring someone else in, whatever. The other prospect's shaking in their boots. Who knows, right? So maybe get those guys a little kick in the pants.
I still think that wouldn't happen until
later
Thanksgiving.
on. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So.
Anything else?
Do you guys see Merkley making the NHL?
No.
Yes.
That was quick. All right.
Not
let's
this
just-
year.
yes.
Not this season.
Yes, but not this season.
He's still in junior.
Yeah. Yeah. He has no place in the NHL right now.
Speaking of, no, I want to say cohesivity, but that's not what I meant. Chemistry.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, actually, think about that. Like is Vlasic kind of out there just like, what do I do now because of Braun being not there?
I don't think that's it.
I don't think that's it. They did spend like basically their careers paired up together, and they were known as like the shutdown pairing, right? But you know, hey, this is professional sports. This is a business. Sometimes you stick with the same guy for a long time. Sometimes you don't. As long as you're playing the same system and everybody's on the same page, it may take a while to gel and get used to new guys, but that's just part of your job. And you know, I've been talking about maybe Dylan getting moved, but and I know there's a no trade clause or anything for Vlasic, but I kind of get this feeling that Vlasic's just not happy right now, even like from practices and whatnot. He just doesn't look happy. So he might even ask for a trade. Who knows? But if that was the case, again, if Ferraro's able to play and he's able to maintain over the course of an A2 game season, now that's a lot to ask for out of this rookie. But I mean, a guy like Aaron Ekblad did it. I'm not saying Ferraro's Ekblad, but it's possible for a young guy, especially with so much energy. He's got a lot of energy.
Yeah.
So you know, if he was able to, let's say Ferraro stays in the lineup and is able to play for a good amount of games, you know, 30, 40, 50 games, whatever it is, and we get close to that trade deadline. I mean, do you think maybe we move somebody who's like a higher caliber defenseman?
Like Vlasic to Winnipeg for Laine? Laine doesn't sound like he wants to be
I'm
there.
not saying it's gonna happen. We're not trying to throw predictions. I'm just saying, you know, it's stuff to maybe look out for because it makes sense, right? If Ferraro can hang into the lineup, does it make sense to move somebody who's making a whole lot more? Yeah. So I don't know, just something that's just kind of on the mind. Yeah. Your neck hurts.
My neck hurts.
Your neck hurts. His throat. Something wrong with his throat.
All right.
I don't know what that.
Let's wrap it up.
Okay, let's do that.
Do you want me to like wrap?
Yeah, wrap it up. Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in. That was a whole lot of fun. How many do we still have?
56 still watching. Warching.
You're taking. So.
He's taken.
Yeah. Wow. That's awesome. Thank you guys for sticking around. That's really cool. I know we had like 50 something like when we went out, and we still have 50 something. So that's
you guys. We had 70 at one point, which is nice. We lost about 10, 15
okay.
over the gremlin issue,
Yeah.
but we you know, I think everybody hung out.
I'm humbled. I'm proud of you. Thank you for
Thanks.
sticking around. I appreciate that. So we're gonna be what's going on next now?
Sunday.
We've got. So next Sunday we'll be doing another live show. So
Right.
by the way, I've noticed that when I look at the stats and everything, I said this before too. When you search for what
Live show.
Yeah.
live show?
On Sunday.
We're sampling some food,
That's earlier in the day.
and then live after that.
Live after.
Okay, so
Sunday
you
night
won't
game.
you won't
Normal
see
schedule.
Yeah, you won't see us doing this, but we will be. Well, not you, I think.
No, I don't.
Some
think
of us will be sampling some of the food that's over at SAP Center. The stuff they're going to be having during the Sharks game, so it'd be kind of cool. We'll get some video of that and everything. Do maybe a little interview going on over there. So pretty cool stuff. But the first thing that you'll see from us on that Sunday will be, again, the live. Now, what I was saying earlier was I still see a lot of folks that are searching for us by name. I think that's awesome that we're actually getting searched for the Fin Factor. Again, when we started this was not where we thought we were going to be. Right. We thought we'd be at maybe 300 by now, which is...
Canceled after episode 3.
Yeah, after episode 3, we're done. Can't do this anymore. No, but I still see some of you guys searching by name, which is cool, but why not just hit the sub button, right? Then you don't have to look for us anymore. And you know that we only put out videos like once every week or so we're not going to spam your inbox.
Minus today.
Well, okay. Usually, right? But there's, sometimes where something special happens, and we're
Marleau's
right there for you.
Subscribe's like down in this.
Is it over there somewhere?
Corner,
I don't know where you're
somewhere
I don't want to
there.
reach across. It's weird. So, yeah, go ahead, hit that button. Make sure you hit the notification bell as well so that you get the emails when we do put out a show that's not going to fill up your inbox. So, good to know. Anything else?
Yep, that's it.
Visit the store. Check out our socials. Love you guys.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay. So, for super producer Jason.
Oh, you guys.
What?
We signed Patrick Marleau.
We signed Patrick Marleau. We should do a whole show about this.
I'm sorry, I didn't start on time.
My joke, see? Witty one, they take my material. For super producer Jason, for super keeper Joe, for Patrick Cabral in the house tonight, I'm Paul.
And I'm Aaron.
And we will see you guys
on Sunday.
During the live show, not while we're eating food. Goodbye.